What's up, everybody? This is Ryan with Shelbuff Entertainment, or as my channel indicates, Innovative Entertainment. I know I haven't been posting in a long time, and I got a really good reason for that. It's because I moved. Yes, I moved from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Yeah, I'm living on the beach now. I'm a beach bum. So anyway, I wanted to post another video here of a modification that I made on my Invicta Pro Diver, and I'm sure that you already know by the thumbnail and by the title that it is a Lume Mod. However, what you don't know is that I have concocted my own loom. All right, I'm going to show that to you, but I want to show you a nice surprise that I have also. Okay, I'll show you a surprise box. Here is my surprise box. If you stick to the end of the video, I'm going to show you what's in this box, and you're going to love it. I swear to God, you're going to love what's in this box. All right, so anyway, back to the video. As I was saying, I've concocted my own loom because I've been studying watchmaking, I've been studying horology, I've been studying watch building. I really got into the hobby of watches, and I really started loving it, started really taking it into consideration. And as you know from my first video, I wanted to buy myself a Rolex because Rolex slogan was, the struggle's over, you've made it, but I didn't want to have to pay $14,000 for a brand new watch, right? So I figured, all right, I'm going to work with my Invicta Pro Diver and try to make out as much as a Rolex as possible. You know, sound the trumpets, wah, wah, wah. I know. But anyway, I've been studying horology, I've been studying watch movements, I've been studying cases, I've been studying sapphire crystals, I've been studying loom, I've been studying everything that is involved in watchmaking. And that's when I concocted my own loom. I've been studying photoluminescence, I've been studying bioluminescence, I've been studying a whole bunch of different types of luminous type material that's used in watches, and I come up with something a little bit different. I don't want to give my my full recipe away from my loom because I want to be able to use this as a way of you know, doing modifications for people without them having to say like, hey, you know, what's your recipe? Like it's secret, but I'll give you a hint. It has to do with the mineral quartz. Yes, quartz. The actual mineral quartz. Okay? And I'm going to show you. All right, so I've been studying Seiko's Lume Bright. I've been studying Rolex's Super Luminova and Chromolite. And they got a lot of really good loom. And they're like the top contenders, Rolex and Seiko. So I figured, well, I want to make something that is just as good as Lume Bright, Super Luminova, and Chromolite. So I found out that mine might just be a little bit better because it lasts a bit longer. Now, I know that people, when they get a watch and they look at the luminous stuff on there, they say things like, well, mine only lasts half an hour, or mine only lasts 15 minutes, and then it goes really dull. Unfortunately, that's the name of the game. Unless you want to go something that is radioactive and toxic for you, then you can do that. But you really, you're just going to have to just deal with, you know, the loom not lasting that long. Now, what you can do is you can understand how the luminous stuff works on watches. Since it's photoluminescence, which means by light, that's my light, photoluminescence works off of light. And the way that works is that it holds a charge and it emits it over a slow period of time, okay? Your eyes have to adjust to the photoluminescence that's being emitted from your watch. That's why sometimes when you come from outside and you grab your watch and you look in a dark room and you're like, well, I can't see anything. Yeah, it's because your eyes aren't adjusted yet. your pupils are still very like little teeny tiny pin things from the light outside. But if you were to have a light, say like with your, as the British call it, my torch. I got my torch. Okay, so if you got your bright light in the dark and you don't look at it while you shine your light on it, you know, like kind of like shield your eyes, turn the light off, and you'll see how bright it really is. Come back a couple hours later, you'll still see it's not as bright as it was, but it's still very legible. Well, I kind of concocted something just a little bit different. It has to do with quartz. Again, the secret ingredient quartz. So anyway, to get to the actual thing here, I got my torch in my hand here. There is the Invicta Pro Diver. I'm going to shine my British torch on it. I got the pip. I don't know why. I want to put that back to the 12 o'clock position. Is that where it wants to be? Okay. Get back to the 12 o'clock position. Now, here's my torch. Ready? Now, the active ingredient in this one, again, like I said, is quartz. It's a very complicated process of what I used, how I got the quartz involved with the photoluminescence, right? But check this out. Okay, so we're going to shine this up real nice. Now, let me go ahead and get a little zoom here. Okay, and I'll turn off the light. Look at that. That is my Lume Mod that I made on my Invicta Pro Diver. Let me put this out here just a little bit more in the center of the screen. All right. Again, like I said, quartz. Okay, quartz has a reflectivity to it. It also stores energy, right? So what's nice about my concoction that I came up with, and what I call this is called Spirit Loom, and I'll explain why when I get further into the video. But when I concocted this, I was studying the effects of quartz and how it stores energy, and I figured, well, if it stores energy, can it store light energy? And with a very complicated formula that I came up with, it could store light energy, and it can keep emitting it back and forth to the bioluminescence that's involved in my Spirit Loom. So take another look at that again. Look at that. Look how bright that is. Okay. Now, as you know, if you were to have your Invicta Pro Diver, you know that the loom on that is really, 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 really shitty. It's bad. It's really bad. Like, it wouldn't even last this long, right? Will my loom outlast Superluminova? Will it outlast Chromolite? Will it outlast Lumibrite? The answer is yes and no. Okay? And the reason why I say that is because it depends on who's viewing the actual loom. If you're viewing it from a point of view of being very, very, very critical and you're just an asshole, then no, you're not going to be pleased. However, if you're viewing it from a point of view where you are open-minded and understanding about how luminescence actually works, you're going to be very impressed. Yes, if you put it up against a Rolex or a Seiko, you're going to be very, very, very impressed. Let's take a look at that again. Boom! Look at that. I mean, it is just bright. Okay, but you could see that the pip, the indices, the hour hand, the minute hand, and even the seconds hand are all consistent with the same light. And again, like I said, that's because of the quartz that I've added into my mixture. It just keeps radiating. It just keeps. It's like a process of the stored energy interacting with the quartz just over and 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 over, and just emits this light. It does wear out though, just like regular photoluminescence. Photoluminescence does wear out. Your Seiko loom, you might get about half an hour before it's really dull. Your Super Luminova or Chromolite might be about 20 minutes to a half an hour, depending on how you're looking at it. This here is, I would say, about half an hour to 45 minutes. Not of extreme brightness, not like that kind of brightness, but after about half an hour or 45 minutes, it'll be dull. And I even post pictures here. It's not super, super dull. You can still see it, and I'll post pictures relative to how you're going to be viewing it at night when you're seeing it at night. Okay, so like if you're in a completely dark room and you want to take, to see what it looks like at night, you'll be able to see that. So that's my mod of the Lume mod that I did on the Invicta Pro Diver. And so you might be asking yourself, well, what is it with spirit loom? What is spirit loom? Like, does it have anything to do with quartz? Yes and no. Like a lot of people who are involved in like spirituality and shit like that, that they think quartz is like a good energizing mineral. And it is. It is. But the spirit loom has nothing to do with the quartz itself, but it does have everything to do with the quartz itself because quartz is mixed in with the loom. And let me show you what my surprise is. I'll show you the surprise box. Okay, let's go and take a look at the surprise box. We're going to zoom out a little bit here. Let me see, zoom out more. A little bit more. Okay, you ready? Well, I wonder what that is. That looks like a very elegant watch box. Did he go out and buy a elegant watch? I don't know. Well, that watch. What is that? What kind of watch is that? I've never seen a watch like that before. What is it with this watch? And I gotta adjust. I've never seen a watch like that before. What is it about this watch? Well, here's a surprise. Because I've been studying watches, watch building, watchmaking, watch horology, I decided to make my own watch from complete scratch, from absolute complete scratch, okay? The case has been milled, the dial has been milled, the bracelet has been milled, the crown has been milled, all that stuff. I got designers, I designed it myself, but I got fabricators who fabricated them for me because I don't have the tools to do this, but I've hired people to do that. So the unfortunate part is that when I designed this dial here, I had to buy a minimum of 50 of those dials. It's part, I know that sucks, right? But what goes into this dial? Well, here's the story. I was on a bunch of Rolex forums and Seiko forums, and I was researching stuff and asking questions. Some of you might have actually been on these forums that I've been asking questions. But I've asked, has anybody ever seen a diver's watch with Roman numerals? And everybody says, no, you don't want to do that. It'll look like shit. No, don't do that. Well, if you know me, you know that I'm the kind of person that if somebody says something can't be done, I want to prove that it can be done. So I designed the first dive watch with Roman numerals, okay? And you'll see here, there's no badging on this yet. That's part of my process of getting badging put on this. I have badging being produced right now. The name of my company is called Bogdewic. It's just my last name with a really nice B logo on there. And the name of this watch is called the Demon. Why do I call it the demon? Is it demonic? Is it evil? No. It has nothing to do with this watch being demonic or evil or anything at all whatsoever. It has everything to do with the fact that if you're struggling with your own personal demons in life and you want to do something to reward yourself, to remind yourself that life is better and that you could find better things, and you're battling your own demons, well, that's why I designed the demon watch, because I've been battling demons my entire life. And I thought, well, what better way than something that I'm really, really, really starting to love, which is watches and watchmaking and watch building, than to design my own demon watch. Now, a little bit, tell you about this. The Roman numerals, as you know, if you're into Catholicism, you know that the Stations of the Cross are done in Roman numerals, right? Like 1 through 10. There's like 10 Stations of the Cross. But on a watch or on a clock, there are 12 hours. Okay, so really couldn't get past that at all whatsoever. However, I decided to do Roman numerals. Gold is also a very spiritual type thing. One way it can be described as very divine metal, and other times it's described as the source of evil, right? Because like the golden calf that was constructed, and Moses threw the tablets of the golden calf, melted it, whatever. Anyway, so I wanted to incorporate the gold into it as well. That's why you'll see that the outer ceramic bezel, which is a ceramic bezel, it's inlaid with gold leaf. Yeah, gold leaf inside of the ceramic bezel insert. Okay? The hour markers are also gold leaf. Gold leaf. The date window, if you could see it close enough, I'm trying to zoom in on that, see if I can zoom in on that or not. If you look at the date window, it's kind of a little bit at an angle, but that is a very thin line of gold leaf. Okay? So we got gold leaf in there. The watch hands are gold. The crown is also gold. And I took inspiration from other watches that I really loved, like the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. I loved the waffle design of the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. So I wanted to incorporate that in my dial, right? So I incorporated that through my design, through my drawings and stuff and everything in my designs. I wanted to incorporate that, but I also, like, it wouldn't look right on a complete waffle dial having the Roman numerals on there. So I decided to leave that outside area just flat, no waffle design. But on the way outside here, on the outer edge of the dial, you will also see that it is also waffle design as well. Here, I just want to show that to you. Okay, just look at that nice waffle design, inspired by the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. All right. A little bit about the demon and battling your own demons. Okay, you notice that the seconds hand has a red tip on there. I wanted that to be indicative of when you're battling your own demons, that is your warrior's spear, and that you pierce the heart of your own demon, right? And that's your own personal demon's blood right there on the tip of that spear. So you're defeating your demon, all right? Now, here's the interesting thing. The spirit loom. Are you ready for this? Here's another loom shot. Another loom shot. Ready? Spirit loom. What I wanted to incorporate with the spirit loom was the fact that when you look at this watch in the dark, and you see this bright blue spirit loom, that it is a inspiration, it's a motivation to let you know that, hey, no matter what you're dealing with in life, you can take your power back, right? And that this is going to be your actual power that you're observing through the watch, right? It's a way of this watch giving you power back when you see the beauty of this spirit loom, right? That's why, like for instance, in quartz, whenever you talk about quartz being part of this watch, part of the spirit loom, yeah, quartz is very, it stores energy, right? And a lot of your spiritual people out there use quartz and stuff, but this has nothing to do with the spiritual watch at all. This is no spiritual type of like ambiance to it at all. So it's just a way of motivating and inspiring yourself to take your power back from whatever demons you're dealing with in life. But the quartz, which is the secret ingredient to make that loom last as long as it does and as bright as it does, is because of the fact that it has a spiritual element to it, and it also is storing energy as well. So it does store light energy, and it helps reflect it, not by itself, obviously with the with the photoluminescence that's incorporated with this, that it does store the energy and it emits it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, a little bit longer than your other type of luminous materials. Okay? Now, with this watch, what do you think it's powered by? Do you think it's powered by a Seiko NH35A? No. I wanted to go elegant with this. So, I decided to power this watch with an ETA 2824. And I'll show that to you. This is the Demon's ETA 2824 with the display case back. And then just look at that. Look at, there were other things that I wanted, like I was looking at the ETA 2824 Elabore. I was looking at the ETA 2824 I can't remember what it's called now, I'm sorry. It's a very high functioning ETA 2824, but for the price difference between these movements and the little bit of like benefits that you get from them, to me, I didn't see the value in that. So I just decided to stay with the ETA 2824-2, obviously. It's very smooth. It's got 2,800 beats per second, or beats per hour. 2,800 beats per second. That'd be a lot of beats, wouldn't it? Jesus Christ. Yeah, but it's 2,800 beats per hour. It's got a 40-hour power reserve. It's 8 ticks per second instead of your NH35A has 6 ticks per second. And I'll even show you a comparison to the seconds hand on the Invicta Pro Diver versus the Bogdewick Demon. Is this going to be my final watch? No. I'm going to be making another watch also that's going to be the opposition of the Demon, which is going to be called the Angel. And what's going to be nice about the Angel watch is the fact that it's going to be all stainless steel. It's not going to be a diver. It's going to be more of kind of like the case of a day date, like a Rolex day date. It's not going to have any clicking bezels or anything like that at all whatsoever. It's just going to be just a standard case with your regular bezel. There's not going to be any inserts or something like that. But it's going to be very distressed and stone washed. Yeah, I'm going to have a stainless steel watch, distressed and stone washed. And I'm going to be doing that all myself. And at the top of the dial, up here by the, right here, is going to have an open heart design where you can see the actual balance spring for the ETA 2824. Now I have the dial. It's already been designed. I already designed it, and it's already been produced, and I have another 50 of them coming my way. So I had to order a minimum of 50 of these dials, which, when you think about it, it's ridiculous unless you want to sell these watches. And I'm hoping that I can sell these watches. That would be nice, but I'm not really expecting anybody to really buy them. But I might actually sell them, because, you know, just depending on what kind of feedback I get from people. The dial is going to be all completely white. It's going to be very, very white, very bright. It's going to have gold hour markers. It's going to have that open heart design. And what I'm going to do with the Spirit Loom is I am going to do a faux patina on the Spirit Loom. It's still going to be blue. Just take a look at that. It's still bright. It's still very, very, very bright. And it's still going to be a blue like that in the dark when you see it, except it's going to be like a faux patina on the hands and on the hour markers. The outside of the watch is going to be very distressed, very stonewashed, as it looked like as it's going through battle. You know, if it's like, say, if it's actually worn by an angel and he had to go through the pits of hell to go do battle. Well, imagine what that watch would look like, right? And there's a story behind that one. But when I do a video of the angel, I'll actually tell you the story of the angel and the inspiration of that. But yeah, this is my surprise video that I have for you. Not surprise. Surprise box that I have. And I got that. That's the demon. The demon. Oh, yeah. I'm going to change this clasp. Okay? I'm a big fan of the Rolex Daytona. Okay? More so than the Rolex Submariner. That's why I decided to do the extra extension link for the clasp. It still has the clasp like the Rolex. Right here on the fold over part of the clasp, I'm going to have my logo embossed onto there. I'm going to have my logo, it's upside down, have my logo embossed up here, and then below down here is going to have the word demon, and below automatic, I've had this pressure tested for 670 some feet, so I'm just going to round it off to 666 feet. So it's going to say my business logo of my company, demon, automatic, and 666 feet. And that's all it's going to have on it. Obviously, it's got Swiss made because the manufacturer who I had designed this, that was part of his agreement. He wanted to put Swiss made because I got this from Switzerland. I had it designed in Switzerland. So, but yeah, the Bodgewood Demon. Okay, so let me go ahead and put this back. Actually, let me give you a wrist shot, what this looks like on my wrist. Now look at that. Look at that, ETA 2824 gold. Look at that. Just imagine that on your wrist. Imagine how that would feel looking at that. Especially looking at that. And get the focus. Focus. Yeah, especially looking at that. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine? Every time I wear this watch, I feel so good. Because I don't know if it's because of the fact that the story behind the date that I created for it. Oh yeah, the box, everything. Yeah, it was completely thought up design. I liked the Audemars Piguet. Obviously, you can tell I'm an Audemars Piguet fan as well. Can't own an Audemars Piguet because I don't have enough money, but I like the design of the box. I decided to design a little bit differently than Audemars Piguet's. Patek Philippe has a box like this as well. Piano wood box, I decided to go with a piano wood box as well for the Bodwick Demon. I'm going to have this a same or similar piano wood box for the Angel as well. So let's go back to the Invicta Pro Diver. All right, we can take another shot here because we didn't use any light on it. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. You can rewind to the beginning of the video when I did this, when I actually shined the light on this, and see how long this is lasting. But this is what we're going to be looking at when you look at it in the nighttime. This is a very, very, very extensive mod. It's very, very complicated because you have to take basically the entire goddamn watch apart. You got to take the movement out, you got to take the hands off, you got to take the dial off the movement, you got to take each individual hour marker off of the dial, because when you strip the old loom off to apply the new loom, the way I do it is you don't want to mess up your dial, because this is a painted dial, and you do not want to, the type of material that I use, which is like denatured alcohol, you don't want to use denatured alcohol on a painted dial, because it will just, it'll go and just bubble up and just, it'll destroy the dial. So you have to remove every one of those hour markers, which are inlaid and inset, nothing more than like super glue from the factory. So if you get some denatured alcohol on the back of it, flip the dial over, you'll see the spots where the super glue is applied to the hour marker posts that are going through the holes. You just put some denatured alcohol in there, or you can even use acetone if you want. And that'll loosen that up, and then you can take a very small, very fine point tweezers and just pop them off, and they come out. Sometimes they'll just fall right off, but sometimes you have to like be very careful when you're taking them off. And then you soak the hour markers in either denatured alcohol or acetone. I like to use denatured alcohol instead of acetone because acetone might take the plating off. I don't have to worry about that on this watch because this is all genuine gold, so I don't have to worry about taking any plating off on that one. But I've heard horror stories of people with gold plating having to take to acetone, and then the acetone just eats away at the plating, and you're left with just like your stainless steel underneath, or aluminum, or whatever it's made out of. But then I took each individual hand, and I got the denatured alcohol on a cotton swab. On toothpicks, I put all the hands on toothpicks. I put the second hand, the actual Invicta logo. I impressed this Invicta logo right here into Rodico, so I held that in with Rodico. Everything is upside down, and you get your denatured alcohol, and you just keep rubbing and rubbing and rubbing and rubbing and rubbing until that old loom comes off. Then you turn it over again, and you rub the front of it with denatured alcohol, because it's going to bleed through and it's going to go to the front. I think if you don't do that, you're going to have like very foggy, hazy looking type of hands, and you don't want that. Same thing with the hour markers. You got to make sure you polish them. And then what I did is I got some jeweler's polish after I was done with that, and I polished the hands, I polished the hour markers, and then I began the process of relooming the hands. What I did do is I used white enamel paint, which some people say when you use white enamel paint, it makes the loom brighter, it makes it last longer. I really don't see a difference, but I did it anyway. I put white enamel paint underneath of the loom, and then I loomed over top of the white enamel paint because white's a very reflective color, and it would reflect light back through the lumen and energize it again. But it's energized for however long you keep the light on it. It's not like it's going to keep like bouncing back and forth off of the. It's however long you actually hold the light on it, not how long it's bouncing back and forth through the particles of quartz and the photoluminescent stuff. So, so if you want this mod, I could do this for you. However, it's going to be a very costly mod because of all the work that goes on with it. I don't have a set price yet on doing this because I just did this on my own. I wanted to watch and try to test something out on my own to see what it would look like when I start designing my own watch. So I just figured, why not try it to my Invicta? And I did my Invicta Pro Diver, and this is now my my watch. So let's see, how does the loom look? Yeah, now just imagine imagine that this camera lens is your eyes adjusting. We're about half an hour now, okay? This is now about the same length of time of what like your Chromolite, Superluminova, what's Seiko's loom? Lume. This is about equivalent to what Seiko and Rolex would be having right now. So just imagine like another 15 minutes of this brightness and it starts to dull down. Around this time is whenever you would start seeing like half an hour. Right now, Seiko's Lume would have been pretty dull at this point in time. Rolex's Superluminova and Chromolite would have been extremely dull at this point in time. And when I've read forum posts through the Rolex forum posts, and I belong to a few forums for watchmakers and stuff and everything, a lot of your novice watch owners will say things like, well, my watch doesn't last no more than like a half an hour. You know, like I bought a $14,000 watch. Why doesn't it last no more than half an hour? It's not the way it's meant to. It's not meant to last that long. It's more of a novelty than anything else. It's not really. I mean, it's useful, especially when you're trying to look at night. But it's more of a novelty than anything else. But I wanted to put something into my watches, like the Demon, the Angel. I got a couple other ones that I'm spitballing some ideas with. But whenever you have this photoluminescence on your watch, it's not like it's the old loom, like from the 1900s to the 1950s, which was very radioactive and very toxic. Yeah, that shit was bright, but you also glowed too. So you don't be wearing a watch and you're glowing brighter than your watch is glowing, or glowing just as bright as your watch is glowing. So that stuff, all that radioactive stuff, has been which is called radium. Radium was the radioactive stuff that was used. You don't want to be glowing like your watch. And then there was tritium that was used, and tritium tubes. Like if you look at tritium is about this brightness. This is what the brightness of tritium actually is. It's not like, whoa, like really bright. It's about that brightness. And depending on where you're looking at it, what source you're looking at it from, it's not going to be like all that bright. A lot of people that I belong to on the forums, especially watchmakers and stuff like that, say that they actually compare the loom to tritium tubes. Like how long after the brightness wears off do they match the tritium tubes, and how long does that stay? How long does that type of loom last on your watch? And that's what you got to take into account, is the tritium tube glow. Right now, let's do this again. I'm looking at my video. Right now we're on 40 minutes right now, and that's where the loom is glowing right now. We're around 40 minutes. That's what you can expect from the Spirit loom that I design in my watches. Oh, I did promise you. I want to show you something. I did say that I was going to do a comparison of the Demon to the Invicta Pro Diver. Oh, I have it on my wrist. Okay, so let's see if we can get the seconds hand, how the seconds hand moves versus. That's my dog drinking from the toilet. If you hear that slurping in the background. Okay, I'm trying to adjust this. I'm sorry. I apologize. Let's see if I can take this pillar off. Take the pillow off here. Okay, so we're looking at the Invicta Pro Diver versus the Demon. This one's a little off kilter. Okay, and you could see the Invicta Pro Diver versus you look at the NH35 compared to the ETA 2824. You can see a difference. You might not see a noticeable difference, but you can see how the ETA 2824-2 is a lot smoother compared to the NH35A. I'm not knocking the NH35-A. It's a workhorse. So is the ETA. But when I'm designing a watch and I wanted to get my own Rolex, like I said, I wanted to, but the struggle's over. I've made it. I wasn't completely sold on the design of the Rolex Submariner, especially with the larger indices. When I looked at the bezel, it wasn't a very smooth bezel. It wasn't as smooth as I thought it was going to be. It was very smooth, and it had some backplay in it. And I was kind of disappointed for $14,000. I said that on a previous video before. I was kind of disappointed in $14,000 on how it was. That's why I made this bezel here, which is my butter smooth bezel with no backplay. I wanted to compete against the Rolex, so you'll know here. Okay. Then that leads me to a point I wanted to talk to you about my Demon. Part of the watch design that I incorporated into this is that this is a 120 click bezel, but it's not a spring click. No, it's not. Well, what is it? It's a ball bearing click. There's a ball bearing right here on the 55-hour marker right here, and it kind of like sticks up. So it's kind of like a sticks up, and it's sort of a spring, and there's a little ball on the end of it, which is a ball bearing, and it makes it for a very, very, very smooth bezel. And you'll see here, I can actually spin this with one finger. Check this out. Oops. That's just one finger. Any back play in there? No. I mean, it's got a little bit of back play, a tiniest bit, but this is honestly, this is the kind of back play I seen on the Rolex Submariner. The Rolex Submariner also had this amount of back play as well. It's very, very, very slight. Very, very, very slight. But when I seen the Rolex Submariner at $14,000 having that kind of backplay whenever I had an Invicta Pro Diver and I made no backplay in it at all whatsoever. And this was under $80. I'm like, all right, you guys gotta be fucking kidding me. $14,000 you want me to spend for that? And I made this way. Rolex, on their new Submariners, they don't have a spring click on their new Submariners either. They have a ball bearing, just like I have in the Demon. The Demon is also mimicked after the Rolex Submariner with the ball bearing 120 click bezel. So keep doing this upside down. Here's a neat little thing I found out too. I discovered this on my own. A lot of people with like your Seiko divers, stuff like that, they look at these divers and they say, I could never get the pip lined up with the 12 o'clock marker. Well, that's an optical illusion. Okay, let me explain why. Do you notice that it looks like it's a little bit off from the 12 o'clock mark, right? The way you can tell, simply turn the watch upside down and now look at it. It's exactly on the 12 o'clock mark. So you take this, and that's an optical illusion. That's just your optical illusion that you're seeing. Okay? Let's take a look at the loom again here. We're going on 46 minutes. Right? 46 minutes. Where's the... There we go. Where you at? Okay. So again, like I said, this lasts longer than the Seiko and the Rolex loom. I'm very impressed by that. But I knew it was going to do that because, again, like I said, the secret ingredient is quartz that I put into this to this concoction of a awesome spirit loom. So the Demon is already been trademarked. I went to the copyright office in my local state here of South Carolina. I went to the Library of Congress in New York City, and I had no, I'm sorry, Washington D.C. Library of Congress in Washington D.C. There's another library in New York City that or am I getting them confused? I don't know. I'm trying to remember. But anyway, I went to the Library of Congress and I had the trademark pending for the Demon. So it is protected right now. The design is protected for this. But yeah, if I do decide to sell this watch, for the amount of work and the artwork that I have to put into this, I honestly would sell this watch for $2,500 because it's a very luxurious watch. I put a lot of design into this, a lot of creativity, a lot of kind of showing people up that a dive watch with Roman numerals can work. It can work. What's neat about this is a 40 millimeter watch case, but because of the dial, the way the dial is constructed by that optical illusion, it makes it look bigger. That dial looks bigger than 40 millimeters because of that. Like if you look at these two here, right? This is the Invicta Pro Diver. The dial looks smaller, but they're the exact same size. They are identical in size, but the Demon looks bigger. That's your optical illusion. Even when you're looking at them like face to face, no pun intended. When you're looking at them face to face, you could see that the Demon looks bigger. But both of these dials are 28.5 millimeters. Both dials, 28.5 millimeters inside the case, right? But the Demon looks bigger. That's just the way that it's designed to make it look like that. So anyway, guys, this is my video. If you're wanting me to do your mod on your Invicta Pro Diver or any watch that you have to have it reloomed, give me a shout out. I will be more than happy to do that for you. We are now going on 50 minutes. We're 49:36, and I just wanted to show you that 49, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. Anyway, 50 minutes now. 50 minutes, and this is what the Spirit Loom does. So, if you want me to reloom it for you, give me send a message in the comments. I'm going to put an email address in my community page where you can email me, and I'll be able to do it for you. Again, like I said, it's going to be a costly mod because of the work that has to be done. If you go back and review, like I said, I have to take the entire watch apart. I have to take the entire dial apart. I have to take every single hour marker off. I have to take the watch hands off. I have to do everything just to do that type of loom mod. But if you want me to do it, I can do it. And it's not going to be cheap though. So just leave a comment, and I will get back to you, or go to my community page and look for the email address. I'll put it up here after this video. And you can email me privately if you don't want your information displayed publicly. So just email me privately, and I'll tell you the cost of what I can do for your watch. Okay? It's not going to be one rate cost. It's going to be based on your watch. So like if you have like a Hamilton, it's going to be a lot more expensive. If you have a Tag Heuer, it's going to be a lot more expensive than an Invicta Pro Diver. If you have a Rolex, it's going to be a hell of a lot more expensive than that. If you have an Audemars Piguet or anything like that, I don't know why anybody wants their Audemars Piguet re-loomed. It's just going to destroy the value of the watch. But those watches are going to be a hell of a lot more expensive than like an Invicta Pro Diver. Like an Invicta Pro Diver is going to be like your bottom of the line cost price. It's still going to be costly, but it's not going to be anywhere near what a brand new, or not a brand new, but like an Audemars Piguet or a Hamilton or a Tag Heuer or anything like that. So anyway, this is my video, guys, and take care. I love you. I'll give you one last loom shot here. We are now on 52 minutes. 52 minutes, and that is what the loom still looks like. All right, guys, take care. Love you. Bye.